Okay, this is Jason WW. I'm just doing a little experiment on the FW3A. What I did, I took the switch printed circuit board. Where is my camera? I scraped a little of the solder mask off this middle trace, and I soldered a copper wire You can see the copper wire. It's just a single strand from a piece of multi-strand copper wire. Soldered right over here, which basically simulates the trace making electrical contact here. See if I can put a little pressure. You can see it's not moving at all. It's kind of hard to see the solder. I just scraped a little area. But anyway, this is going to simulate the spring falling very hard and possibly piercing. Make sure everything's in there straight. Okay, it's going to simulate the spring piercing that solder trace or solder mask and causing a short. See if I can do this with one hand. Now whenever you tighten the tail cap, you want to make sure that the head is either loose or off, and then tighten the tail cap all the way first. I'll try to get two hands here. Okay, a little trick. When I'm tightening this, I'll push on the spring, the clip I mean. Actually, I've already got the lost my focus. Yeah, I usually put a little pressure on the clip. That just makes it easier to tighten. Anyway, let's get that fully tightened. Okay. Now this is a stock FW3A. It's set to the stock ramping levels, meaning when it goes to the top of the ramp, it's all 8 of those 7135 current regulator chips, which is about 2.8 amps and about 1,000 lumen. This is the XPL High 3D version. This is the only one of these lights that I have. Okay, got a blink because we had contact. And basically my theory is when that trace is touching the spring like it is, it just simulates the button being held down. Okay, there we go. The light is tight and she's on. But I want to point out it's not on turbo. It only ramped up to the top of the ramp. Normally, if it was on turbo, I'd only get about 15 or 16 seconds out of it with the 30Q battery that I've got in here. But this one, it's starting to get a little bit warm. I'll let it run for a while just to kind of show that it's not on turbo. It's hard to prove that it's not on turbo. It's my soldering setup. But yeah, it's not on turbo. It's just, it goes up to the top of the ramp and stops. You know, it's basically simulating the button being held. And I think if you unscrew either end, it should break the contact. I think if you unscrew the head, you're still going to have electrical contact because the threads are unprotected. But the contact from the inner tube should break. Let's see what happens when I loosen the head. Okay, it's still on, so it's still getting the signal. Okay, it ramped down. Okay, I didn't get the head tight enough. Okay, it ramped back up. Let's see what happens when you loosen the tail. Okay, the light turns off. Tighten it back up. It ramps up. Still no turbo. It gets pretty warm though. Let's loosen the head. Yeah, I think once you lose contact with that inner tube, yep, tighten the head, ramps back up. Tighten the tail. Try to get both of them. Loosen the tail. There we go. Tighten the tail. Ramps back up and you get the little blink. Anyway, I think that's enough to show that it doesn't like instantly go to turbo or cause damage. You make sure your little nub is in there. You don't want to lose that. Okay, and I'm going to inspect the tail. Focus. Wow, it really does not want to focus. Okay, now you can see the trace is still intact. The copper strand is still intact. It didn't burn through. I was using it like a fuse, but it didn't burn. There's no high current going through there. There's no high current going through that little trace. Everything is pretty normal. Anyway, that's the experiment. I didn't think I was going to have time. I'm kind of behind on time right now, but I wanted to get this done today if I could. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.